Justin, take us to another segment. We're just
I will.
I'm
happy to.
now.
I was trying to look. We're recording late, so I'm trying to find. Oh, there he is. Thanks, Trav. Thanks for these questions, buddy. I appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.
Travis actually writes all the questions. We haven't gotten an email in our inbox in like 2.5 years, probably because we don't mention it anymore.
The hardest part is thinking of different cities and stuff that people can be from.
Yeah, there's only so many cities, and if you use one twice, people are going to be on to the grift.
Can I talk before we ask a question?
Yeah,
and I do want to do this. I do want to do the question.
Yeah, of course.
Can we talk about the elf on the shelf for a second?
Yeah.
Is that like a way of saying like the elephant in the room?
No. That would be that. TM.
Yeah. To set this, can I say that we did a FaceTime so our kids could play Pokemon together over the weekend, which was delightful. And Henry had never seen Elf on the Shelf before, and when Charlie showed it to him, she was like, "Yeah, he's pretty creepy." So, like, who's it for, Justin?
Yeah, BB asked me if we could do Elf on the Shelf this year, and I said, no, Elf on the Shelf is just designed to horrify you into being good. And she goes, but Charlie has one. And I was like, well, I can't speak to Justin's mind.
I don't know how it happened. I think Mary got one first, and the kids loved it, so then we got one. And the Elf on the Shelf, if you don't know, the Elf on the Shelf is a toy that you buy, and you put him up on, or him, they got all kinds of different ones, him or her.
Woke culture, am I right?
Okay. So you hide the elf on the shelf, and the elf watches the kids and then reports back to Santa every night.
Yeah, sure.
If the kids touch the elf, this is so important. If the kids touch the elf, it loses its magic.
And dies?
And, I mean,
it goes from being a magical fairy tale creature that can teleport all over your house and report on you to the government, definitely.
Yeah.
Or a lifeless, a corpse. I mean, it is what it is.
Basically a corpse. Just like in Toy Story, they die all the time when
or like
humans are around.
Yeah, sure.
Justin, would you say that Elf on the Shelf is the most commercially successful haunted doll on the market today?
Wow, that's Trav.
Big question.
That's huge. Actually, that's huge for our brand. But it's and also the other key thing about it is, after it reports back to Santa, it returns to a different spot in your house. So,
homework.
As a parent, right, or guardian, you now are the one, and you have
or home intruder.
Or home intruder.
I know the kids can't touch this. Let me just zoop.
It's hard enough to keep the whole Santa thing going.
Yeah.
And that's like very ephemeral, right?
Yeah.
It's like, Santa, everybody has a different. This is like concrete evidence, proof of life.
Yeah.
This is magic that's happening every day. And if you forget that, what I'm saying is, I don't know why we had to increase the difficulty of Santa faith with this like hard, concrete, like complex mythology. Because if the bottom falls out from the elf, it's not a long walk to be like, okay, so the Santa thing, tooth fairy, all of that stuff.
Right.
Is I don't understand why it had to be that way. Yesterday, the Elf on the Shelf, I had it hanging off a light fixture, and then right in front of the kids.
You can't see Justin, but it's so important to note he's hanging by his hands. He's hanging by his hands.
It's got Velcro on his hand. I put Velcro on this thing's hands so I can make it do all kinds of wild stuff.
Yeah.
You're complaining for the bit, but you love it, right?
When I remember it, it's good. When I don't remember, when it's 5:30 in the morning and I sit up and I'm like, fuck, then it's bad.
You just throw them in the washing machine.
Today I jammed him behind the air fryer. It took the kids 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
But yesterday, this doll fucking falls right in front of the kids onto the ground. So now I'm looking at it like, well, fuck me. And they're like, you can't touch it. Like, I know I can't touch it. And then the cat instantly is like, hell yeah, I've been wanting to fuck you up for years.
Yeah.
This is my day.
This is Judgment Day, bud. It's coming.
The cat's like about to pounce. And I'm like, I think I start looking for rubber gloves because I feel like I could maybe sell that.
Yeah.
But then Charlie's like, get the tongs. Like, okay, tongs. That's even better. So I get tongs and I pick up this.
like a bird that has been dragged into the house.
Yep.
I pick up the elf and I put it face down on a serving tray up on top of the fridge. And it's just lie there like, we'll let her rest there. It's fine. I'm sure she'll get her magic back. I'm sure the tongs were okay. last night, as I mentioned, we forgot to move the elf because it was very out of sight, out of mind. It was lying on top of a serving tray. And Sydney's like, text me while I'm just out of the shower. She's like, quick, I've got Charlie distracted. You've got to move the elf. Like, okay, okay. So I run, and then I had this really brief moment where I was like, I don't know what we're teaching our kids with the elf, but this could be a teachable moment that gets me having to do the elf forever. So it's basically just like, that's a tough break, kids, but that's what life is like sometimes, right? Like that's like that sometimes.
So what did you do?
He air fried it.
I stuffed it behind the air fryer. I stuffed it behind the air fryer. Didn't use the tongs, used my bare hands.
Well, you broke the magic.
Could you not have sold, like, the elf spirit is still in there, but if we scale the thing out, she had like an 8-story fall yesterday.
Yeah.
Onto her.
She has a long road to recovery ahead of her.
She's going to be laid up on the fridge for a while, which honestly, kids, is a bad behavior pass for you for as long as they are.
You can do whatever you want, and Clarice can't report. Well, there's an animated series that's absolute horseshit. It's like a 22-minute movie of garbage.
Yeah.
And this one kid's like, I don't believe in this idiot. He knocks it off a shelf. And they do even increase the mythology to now where he has to be flown by other elves back to the North Pole and get bed rest.
To get resuscitated?
Back. Wow.
It's so heinous.
We got that dog. Because I think some family member sent us the dog. Elf on a Shelf has a dog, too. And it's a St. Bernard with a little keg around its neck. But the keg contains Christmas cheer.
Sure.
And on Christmas Eve, a beam of light shoots out of the dog's keg that has a heart on it. And that goes to the North Pole to make, like, Christmas happen. Christmas would die. Christmas would fade from the earth if we stopped believing in it. Which is cool because then on Christmas Eve, my son stays up to watch his stuffed animal dog that goes with the book, and it's like, that beam hasn't come out yet. I'm pretty worried that Christmas is not going to come this year. And it's like, man, what's the game? Unless you have some sort of beam fight laser technology that you can put inside of your dog dolls. Maybe don't build that into the mythos.
Dad tried to introduce.
Think about how much Hanukkah could get to shine that year.
That's
true.
true.
Christmas didn't come. Hanukkah would be in your house. It could finally get center stage.
Dad tried to introduce Elf on a Shelf into our home by getting my kids each one Bengals themed.
And we got one of the. Holy shit, we got one of these too.
Yeah, we got it too.
And all I can think is, like, it's already a complicated enough mythos without introducing. And also, they love football.
They love one team. They have a preference.
Mine, the one that Dad sent us, ended up being the Elf on the Shelf in aisle 5 of Goodwill. Because that's where he went. Because no thank you, Dad. I don't want to have to explain that. Nope. No thank you.
I'm just saying I really pray that there is no magic in the dolls because I never remove them from what must now be their coffins.
Except for me, if the doll is alive, I've done the most kick-ass job ever hiding it from my child. He'll never see it.
That's some other family's problem. Okay.
No.
We're not going to do
They can touch him all he wants. I stuck a note on him that says, "This is my cross to bear. You touch this guy. Go nuts," I said.